What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Rockets, Hits, and Heartbreaks. I got a buddy here with me today because we're going to talk about a sequence that Papa Dude and I did together. I thought it was a really good way to talk about a heartbreak, unfortunately, and then once again, what I've been harping on, pick threes and doubles kind of can save your day when you have that heartbreak in the pick five. So, Papa Dude, you and I did a show on this last Thursday. We did a combined ticket for the late pick five on Saturday at Saratoga. We went 3 out of 5, but it felt like we should have hit it. We'll explain that. So, well, let's just put the results up here, Papa Dude, and we'll start with that. So 7 through 11 were the races. We used 4 horses to start. I'll put the ticket up that we used right now. So we went 1, 4, 5, 6 to start this thing. We both love the 1, though. Mm-hmm. Kind of talk about when the 1 wins the race. And we were like, oh, God, we went 4 deep in our top choice 1. Talk about that feeling.
Yeah, we could have gone 3 deep there, I think. Yeah. But we singled another horse, so it made it to where we could add another one into this.
Yeah.
So, really, when you think about it, it wasn't a mistake by any means. But we did like the 1. I did a lot. I think you did too.
Yeah.
But there were some other horses that could come through if certain things happen, and you don't know if they're going to happen or not. So the horses we had picked, besides the 1, finished 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah.
So we had it nailed pretty good. I don't think we even talked about the 3 that ended up finished 2nd. So, yeah, I'm not real upset that we didn't go 3 or, I'm not that upset. Because these others that we did pick were logical. They had a chance to win. So this one didn't upset me much.
Yeah, I just always get a little bit worried when we kick it off, and it's like we both really kind of like that 1, but we were a little afraid of some other ones, and then that top choice wins, and you're like, oh boy, we went 4 deep. We may have wasted some bullets. As it turns out on this one, we wouldn't have hit this thing no matter what. No. We'll explain that in a minute. But
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I went with you. I was talking to Samich Saturday evening after the races. He loved the 1 as well. And he actually structured it where he went very short here to try to get some coverage in these other races, and he still didn't hit it either. So, but probably one of those things we could have went a little bit shorter. But we'll go on. All right.
The thing is, too, we were afraid of that speed.
Yeah.
Of the 6. That was the thing. We were a little afraid of that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we'll go on to the second leg here. We went 6, 7, 10, 11, if you see there on our screen. The 10 gets the job done. This was one we liked quite a bit. I mean, this wasn't really a surprise. But again, there were so many first-time starters in here. One of them scratched, which we were really concerned about because this was originally a $100 ticket, and it ended up being $80 because of the 9 scratched in this race. We didn't add anybody because it was like kind of a late scratch. Like, we can't add. So, but again, you felt pretty good after this one, right?
Oh, yeah, this was one we really were sweating.
Yep.
Didn't really know where to go on this. We had 2 first-time starters in our top 4. One of them, or top 5. One of them, no, it was 4, wasn't it? Well, one of them scratched. Mm-hmm. So that hurt because that's the one you liked the best.
Yes. The
9 scratched. You still had the 6. And really, we liked the 11 because of the speed that finished 4th. The 7 was the favorite, if I recall. Look where that thing finished, way down there. It's in 7th because we didn't really like that horse that well, but we thought we had to include it. And really, the 10 came through for us. I would have picked that horse about 4th on the list. So again, I feel very good that we got this one right.
Yeah, for sure. And we have 2 kind of shorter price winners, but we also beat 2 favorites, right?
Yes.
The 4 was the favorite in the race before. Like I said, the 10 was not the favorite here. So it's like, okay, yeah, they're short prices, but we beat 2 favorites. That helps a lot in a pick 5 situation. So we're feeling good. Okay, the third race is where I really kind of smiled to myself and said, okay, I think we're going to hit this. This is when I first started to believe we were going to hit it because we ended up going 2-8. We used Annapolis and Casa Creed, but boy, did we debate singling Annapolis.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched our show, my goodness, we talked about it 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
End of the day, we said, you know what? The Casa Creed is just too scary. We can't do it.
Yep.
We were right. Casa Creed wins. It's another shorter price, but it's another beaten favorite.
That's right. So we're flying high.
Yeah.
And again, we did think about singling the 2 in this race and going deeper in the next race, simply because of the proven merit of Annapolis. It had done extremely well, had more proof of what that horse could do than we did the next one. However, when you got a horse like the 8, a veteran that runs a race every once in a while, runs extremely well at Saratoga, you couldn't do it. We just couldn't count the 8 out. It came through for us, and we're still riding high after 3, and we're going to the next one, which we said on our show it was the key to the whole race, and we did that before we ever started picking horses in the sequence.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I felt so good. You know, hindsight now, it's like really the single was Casa Creed, right? Like that was the one you should have singled in the sequence. Again, but before the race, if you single Casa Creed, you're sitting there going, oh my God, I'm worried about this too. You know,
you never would have been able to talk me into leaving the 2 off. It would have never happened. So
no, I know. I'm saying you always have the value of hindsight when you look back. You go, well, the key to the sequence we thought was the 9 in the next race is talking about in second. The key was actually the 8 in this race. Hindsight, I'm saying. Yeah,
but the problem is, had we singled the 8, we would have never got the winner in the 10th.
So that goes to the 10th. Yeah, great segue there. It's like you've been doing this a while. So we go to the 10th race. Look, again, I'm feeling great. I'm watching Saratoga live on FS1 or 2, whichever one it was on that day. By the way, great. They do such a good job.
They do. It's fabulous.
It's fantastic. So anyway, they're leading up. They're interviewing Asmussen. He just loves Gold Sweep, you know, and you can kind of we like Asmussen. We've seen a lot of interviews.
We
you
know
can tell when, right. You can tell when he's really confident.
Yeah,
and he thought he was going to win the race.
Yeah,
the horse. I'm smiling. I'm ready. I'm really excited. In a half a second, how things can you just want to fall on the floor. Gold Sweep breaks. Horrendous. He falls to his knees. He's behind 2 lengths from the second last horse right out of the gate. And it's like, well, there goes your dreams of a pick 5 just crushed. It almost makes it worse. He ran really well. He ran up for second. Usually when a 2-year-old that wants to be forwardly placed breaks like that, one of 2 things happen. They never really run a step, or they rush up as quickly as possible and then fade and finish, mid-pack at best. He kind of gradually, it give Jose Ortiz a lot of credit, kind of gradually got him back in. He gradually made him move around the turn, and I'm almost sitting there like, he may still win. But then the 4 Yo-Yo Candy finds a little extra. Gold Sweep beats everybody else. It was just sickening. I mean, if he goes out there and he sits like 3rd, like I thought he would, and he just doesn't have it, it's like, well, he's got beat. But to lose like that is just,
I know, those are the killers.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, and we debated. The debate is, and a lot of people that will be watching this know, it's a 2-year-old.
Yep. Only
ran twice. Heavy favorite. Not enough history to really be 3 to 5. It just wasn't. But did everything right except get out of the gate. And so that's when you just throw your hands up and say, you know what? Had he got out of the gate, we'd be sitting 4 for 4 and have pretty good coverage going in to the last race of the day.
Yeah, that's another good segue to the last that we're going to talk about here in a second. But yeah, I always talk on these Rockets Hits and Heartbreak shows, like, guys, you got to have good structure, you've got to have good handicapping, and you have to have luck. It's 3 combined things when you talk about these pick 5s. And the structure was pretty good here. The handicapping was pretty good here. We didn't have the luck, and that'll go on to the next. Now let's pretend. Listen, we would have wanted to jump off of a cliff if we were live here, because so let's say the 9 wins the race, right? And we are 5 deep in this spot. The 1 was one of the last ones we cut off.
That's right.
Wins the race. But worse than that, the 8 was a first-time starter that we identified, floated up to 12 to 1. This horse, and the 8 ran a monster race. After a poor beginning, came flying, narrow defeat. And that's why I said we went 3 out of 5, and I felt like we should have hit it because, a horrible break out of the gate for our single. And the 8 was the best horse in this race by a mile. But Flavian Pratt, a perfect ride, saved all the ground, was able to get through and win. Again, no luck here whatsoever.
No. And we would have been sicker than we really are because we considered the winner.
Oh, I know.
And I'm looking at the ones, the one we liked the best ran terrible.
Yep.
Beer Run is who we like the best.
Well, and just real quick to jump in on that, we said on the show, okay, if the 2 breaks well and gets the lead, the 2's gone. But if the 2 doesn't, the 2's screwed. It didn't break all that well, didn't get that position, and never ran.
No. So I'm glad the 3, that was another one we tossed out. We had 7, I think, we considered into this race and tossed it down to 5. And so, I would have been very sick because that one we really liked. And that was our last cut. And the ones we kept didn't do very well. We really didn't. But we did have that 8. You liked that 8 an awful lot.
Yeah.
That's one to watch.
Yeah.
That's one to look at, kind of put a check mark by that horse, City Fever. That's one to look at down the stretch. Or the next time he runs.
Yeah, next time we'll probably see that horse again in a few weeks. And the problem is the horse will not be 12-1 next time.
No.
That's the bad thing about it. And that's why you kind of, with a horse like that, you try to catch that lightning in a bottle right there, boom, 12-1, and not when the horse is 9-5, which is probably what, seriously. Well, depending on the type, depending on who else is in the race, but the horse is going to be a short price. So, okay. So what I've been harping on this show, like I said, Papa Dude, for a few weeks now, it's with the Rockets, we don't play the pick 4s, but instead we break down and play rolling pick 3s and rolling doubles. And here, this is when I was thinking about this last night, about what I want to do for the show today. It's like, we got to do this because it's the perfect example of what I'm talking about. I really believe you need to play a pick 4 or a pick 5, one of the two, and then play rolling pick 3s and doubles. I mean, the research is there after what I've looked at. So this is an example, right? So obviously, pick 5, it's an $80 loss, right? If we played the pick 4 and the pick 5, let's say we played a pick 4 for like $40, we would have lost it as well. So we would have lost $120 on this 5 race.
Well, it's split, so it's 60 apiece.
Well, that's what I know. I get that, but what I'm saying is, for the purpose, if somebody's out there playing and they're not splitting it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So it's a $120 loss. That's why we've changed up these Rockets like we have. So what I ended up doing, I played. So there's 3 pick 3s within the sequence of 5 races you could bet, and 4 daily doubles. So the first pick 3 was 7 through 9. I played it with basically what I'm doing on this is I'm taking our top 2 choices in 2 of the races and our top 3 choices in the race that I think is the most difficult of the sequence of 3, right?
Yep.
So I played the 1-5 in the first leg because obviously we really liked the 1. We talked about that, on the show, and it's like, okay, I'll use the 1 and the 5, so the 1 wins. This was the hardest one of the sequence. Used 3 horses, had the 10, got through it. Yeah, and then obviously the 2-8 was the obvious uses for us in the last leg of this one. So it's a $12 ticket if you play it for $1. It wins $46.50. So there's a really good start, right? Now the problem is in the next 2 pick 3s, singled the 9 in both of them. So that race that was difficult went 4 deep, had the logical 2, singled the 9. So there's a loss. Again, logical 2 again, the 9 went 4 deep in the last race, another loss. However, so you played $36 worth of tickets. You did hit that $46.50. So you do end up with a pick 3 profit on these 5 races of $10.50.
Got it.
So nothing great, right? But that's better than a $40 loss.
Yes.
So let's look at the doubles. I put this all on one slide. So with the doubles, what I've been recommending people do, play a $5 double with the top 2 choices we have in each race, right?
Yep.
So it's a $20 wager. So when you look at races 7 and 8, 1-5, and then boom, the 10 wins. We played the 6-10. So you've got a double that paid $12.20, and if you played it for $5, that's $61. So that's another nice cash. So also in race 8, the 6-10, once again, you got that home, and then you play the 2-8. There's your two logical ones. Check out the double on this one. The 10-8 double pays $20. So if you played it for that $5 wager that I recommend on the Rockets, that's $100. So now you're up $161. Now, you know the story. It's the same kind of thing. You obviously get broke up when Gold Sweep loses. So you lose the last 3 of those. But still, you end up with an $81 profit on those doubles. So in the end, if you play the double and you play the doubles like that, you play the pick 3s like that, you play the pick 5 that lost, you're up $11.50 at the end. Now, you might be watching this and just laugh and go, well, $11.50 profit, who cares? Here's the deal.
It's better than losing.
It's better than losing $120, and that's what you would have lost under the old Rockets that we used to do. There were just pick 5s and pick 4s. Again, I'm not against playing a pick 4, but if you play the pick 4, I probably wouldn't play the pick 5. I would choose one or the other. Go ahead.
So if you just play one of them, you add $60 more to your total profit. Correct?
Yeah.
Now you have a $71.50 profit, and you missed one of those big races, but you covered yourself.
Yeah.
And you're walking out of there with money in your pocket, which is always good.
And that was kind of the research that I did I don't really do anything on a whim. I research it before we change products and stuff like that. And it was just like, look, these pick 5s are really tough. Sometimes the luck doesn't go your way. Sometimes your handicapping and structure doesn't go your way.
Yeah, you just screw it up.
Exactly, and that happens a lot. But if you can still kind of tread water and, okay, I missed this pick 5, but I still got $11.50 out of this, or even if it's just 0, I was a 0. That's long term. That's how you stay afloat while you're waiting for that next big score. So
I agree with you. Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
When you bet a pick 5 or a pick 4, it is if you don't know anything about horse racing, you think to yourself, well, why is that so hard? It's almost impossible. It really is. You hit a pick 5, you've really done something.
Yeah.
So make sure it's within your budget when you do it.
Yeah.
Because if you say you go ahead and you bet $100 on a pick 5, you better be able to lose $100 and it doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
Because chances are you're going to lose it. You know, the best handicappers in the world, which are you guys, you don't hit all the pick 5s. They're hard to hit.
Yeah.
That's why they pay so well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Pick 4s. You and I have tried them a lot. You know, we've hit something. They're hard. They're really hard.
No, for sure. And if you're sitting here watching, go, well, I am on a little bit of a budget. What you can always trim this down to where, let's say you play a $30 or $40 pick 5, and instead of playing these pick 3s for $1, you play them for 50 cents. And instead of playing the daily doubles for $5, you play them for $1. I mean, you can trim all this stuff down. This is kind of based on the budget that we use, but that's just us. So yeah, I think it's a really good point. They're very hard to hit, and that's why they're so rewarding. Like at Gulfstream, we did hit a pick 5 on Sunday at Gulfstream for about $500. You want to hit them for a little more than that, but it was a nice, solid, kind of no stress pick 5 hit. So you hit that. That's great, and you're also hitting those pick 3s and doubles when you hit those pick 5s too, and so it just adds to your profit. But and there's days like opening day where, gosh, nothing was going to hit. You're still going to have those.
Oh yeah.
Just because you're playing doubles and pick 3s, doesn't mean they're going to hit.
No.
It just means you kind of split up your bankroll, where you got, here's some less risky bets, here's one risky bet, put them all together. You hope to hit everything, but if you just can kind of hit those pick 3s and doubles, even if you miss the pick 5, you still might be okay profit wise. So.
Well, yeah, and here you just laid it all out there. We didn't hit the pick 4, we didn't hit the pick 5,
right? But
you covered yourself with the pick 3s and the doubles, and we made a profit. And It wasn't very much, but you and I would never have bet the pick 4 and the pick 5. We wouldn't have done it. We just would not have.
Yeah.
So we'd have had a nice profit when we walked out of there. So.
Yep. Yeah, and that's just it. It's like what really made me change, the last thing here, and then we'll get out of here for this week. But the thing that really made me change is I would handicap a sequence, feel like I was right on, and then walk away with the, on the Rocket product with just a loss. And it's just like, no, I tuned in on those races a little too well to do that. So that's when you start. Well, it's like really like the first 3 races of the sequence, we were pretty good. Like we identified the horses, the top couple of horses in each race pretty well. Mm-hmm. I feel like the first 2 legs of it weren't as easy as that third leg. You should get paid for that, right? Yeah. Like you can't then, okay, I kind of crushed those first 3 races and I fell apart in the last 2. So I lost everything. No, and so that was my motivation.
Well, the other thing is we didn't fall apart in the last 2. We had them pretty close to being right, and luck came in.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
I know what you mean. I know. The ticket fell apart. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
But as far as the handy, with me on this one, I didn't feel too bad about the loss. Now I would have if the 9 had won in race 10, and then the 1 wins the 11th, and we kicked him off right at the last. I would have felt really bad.
Me too.
Had we won. But luck intervened in the race, and we didn't have the right luck. And that's what gambling is, folks. Yep. Got to get lucky sometimes.
That's right.
The big ones. So.
Yep, that's well said. Well, Papa Dude, thank you for joining the Rockets Hits and Heartbreaks this week. You know what? Maybe we'll have you on next week, and maybe.
All right, because I'm sure we'll have a heartbreak somewhere along the line. Well, hopefully we'll have a hit to talk about next time.
Let's hope so, for sure. So next week, or this week, I should say, as it's now this week, we've got a lot going on. We got Saratoga obviously going strong, Del Mar going strong as well. And it's Haskell week at Monmouth Park, so we'll have Haskell coverage on Saturday. So the Rockets are going to be super busy with Saratoga, Del Mar, and Monmouth this week. It's going to be a ton of fun. This is just getting going. All right, guys, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.
RacingNews.com is your home for the best free picks for every race, every track. Summer's here. Our picks are heating up. We want you to join us in the fun. Subscribe to the Racing Dudes YouTube channel right now. Click the notification bell. You don't want to miss a single one of our awesome videos. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.